Let
Yeah.
me. Perfect. Okay. This is great. So, super casual conversation. Just want to get to know you, really know, because there's so many people on Melon Fitness Nation platform. Let me just tell you, I love all my people, but I have not been able to meet a lot of people. So
Mhm.
I really like to meet and connect, especially when somebody's actually out here doing the work, and it looks like you're definitely doing the work.
Yeah.
Um, Possibly talking about potential collaborations because we do
Mm.
have opportunities for that, but really
Cool.
trying to see what you're doing, how we can get people, in your direction and in your space with your services and any other support we can really provide.
That's
So
awesome.
tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Yeah. So I've been in the fitness industry like officially since when did I start? I started coaching CrossFit in, like 2015. No, 2016. I
Okay.
jumped on the bandwagon 2015, drank the Kool-Aid. Started
Okay.
coaching in 2016 and then was coaching literally up until 2022. Um, I've always been
Okay.
athletic and stuff, so it was kind of like a natural progression for me to find CrossFit and jump in that realm. But yeah, I was a coach there for a while. During COVID, when everything was kind of shut down, just I had a couple um former high I worked at the Jewish Community Center for a little bit for as a personal trainer for like a hot minute, but had made one client there who after the shutdown, she reached out. She's like, please help me work out. Like we can work out in my yard. Like I need to just move. So came up with this idea of doing at-home personal training, like me coming to the person. So
Okay.
brought in clients. I kind of like had that as like a side thing for a little bit. But then I really saw like, wow, this could be a thing because there's a lot of people that, struggle to get to the gym, nervous about going, don't feel comfortable, like whatever it may be. And I can like, I come with the equipment. We work out in your living room. I pick up and go home and you just, go back to work. So, um, kind of dove into that as well. And then in 2022, really decided like that's what I wanted to give that a good like college try. So
I love it.
officially,
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah. And then with all that, oops, I've like been always interested in nutrition, and with in being in the CrossFit gym, people are always asking about like what should I eat, how should I fuel, and things like that. And as we know, there's just so much out there, and I wanted to be like a reliable source for people. So got my master's degree during COVID as well because we're all trying to figure out our lives during that time. So decided to get
Absolutely.
back to school. So yeah, so I have my master's in clinical nutrition as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us, what side of the world are you on? Maybe that's a good question
Yeah,
for
that's a good
people.
question too. So I'm in upstate New York outside of Albany.
Oh, nice. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
One of
Yeah.
our Melanin Fitness Nation athletes of the year, Cassie, is actually in New York, I believe. So
Okay, okay,
that's
cool.
totally cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're in New York, you help people, you will come to them and train, you help them with nutrition. Um, Tell us how you feel about CrossFit in general, because I know I started in a CrossFit space and I know things have definitely changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you feel about that?
So, to be honest, I still love CrossFit. I think that the basics of it in terms of getting people together and exercising in the community is what really like where the power is. I've seen it change people's lives for the better. But I feel like for me at some point in time, it kind of, I wouldn't say it became a struggle. We all like kind of had this dream of being this competitive athlete and like I'm gonna go to the games and it we kind of go down, which I think there's a balance, right? Like kind of like the reality check of like you can be competitive, there's ways to be competitive, but not to the point where for me it ended up being too negative in terms of like me being too hard on myself, putting too much pressure on myself, not having fun anymore. And I saw some things with my health in terms of like just being like ramming my body too much. Like I realized I was doing a workout uh, qualifier with a friend, and like she like cranked on the rower, I jump on the rower, and like I can't move, like I'm struggle busting, and I had to stop the workout. I'm like, there's something wrong. Like I don't feel good. Like I know when like the tank is empty, and like this is beyond empty. So it took me a little bit to kind of like I decided to step back a little bit and kind of remember like why did you get into CrossFit to begin with, and things along those lines. And now I've kind of found a better balance. I don't necessarily CrossFit day to day anymore, but I'll like, throw in a Metcon or something as a way to like, get my heart rate up and feel good and kind of like that original idea of like, hey, just like one workout a day and, then you move on the rest of your life.
I agree. I agree. I found that being 40, like when you turn 40, life is a lot
Mhm.
different. I will
Yes.
say, I don't
Yeah.
know if you're 40 or not, but
I'll be 40 this year.
oh my gosh, goodness, welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on over to this side. Let me just tell you, being 40 feels absolutely amazing. Like 30 was good to me, but
Yeah.
40, it has just been it's been great. I just
Yeah.
cannot say enough
Oh,
about
good.
40. So
I
I
love
uh, I welcome you in. Like, come on and join the club. It's just a
it.
different vibe and a different feel over here. So,
Yeah.
and that's what I had to learn for myself too, especially being like so heavy because I was like in the 300 pounds. So when I started CrossFit, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't do this. But the
Mhm.
havoc that it wreaked on my body at a point in time,
Yeah.
it was like a lot. But now
Yes.
I really love the foundation. Like I love how CrossFit is set up. I personally think like every coach should get a certification in CrossFit.
Yes.
Because
Mhm.
let me just tell you, I see people all the time posting their workout videos and all the things, and the moves are like so wrong. Like I'm just
Yeah.
like, what's going on here? Like
What's happening?
CrossFit can really help in that aspect. So I
Yes.
can definitely say hats off to CrossFit for making a product that works. While the
Yes.
people might not have been great that were,
Yeah.
amplifying what they were doing, it
Yep.
definitely works. It definitely saved my life. I will definitely say
Yes.
that.
Yeah, for me, it came like definitely came at a time like I had just kind of moved to Albany and I played competitive rugby for a long time and was kind of like, trying to figure out if I wanted to continue that. And actually, CrossFit helped me get in even probably the best shape of my life for rugby. But then I was
Mhm.
just like, like I want to go all in on CrossFit, so I ended up like, retiring from rugby. But
Nice.
it and I know a lot of people kind of like give like, oh, well, it's the cult and things like that. But once you're in it and you understand like how much it gives you and whether it's friendships or just like your health and mental health, physical health, all of it, like you understand. And so I will forever be grateful for CrossFit for sure.
Absolutely. In
Yeah.
rugby. Tell us about rugby. OMG. Like you can't let that cat out the bag and not like talk about it. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, so I played rugby. I started in college. When I grew up playing a bunch of sports, went to college is like I'm just going to do nothing but study because, all these grades matter. And so my first semester was miserable because I wasn't doing anything. And my roommate at the time was like, "Come to rugby with me. I think you really like it." So I was like, "Okay." And then I've been playing I stopped officially in 2016. I think when was I in college? Like so I started in like 2000, when did I go? 2004.
Okay.
So yeah, so I played for a good long time. And there's lots of, speaking of community and things like that, like rugby was my first like real community of sorts in terms of friendships and like, staying healthy and things like that. So yeah, the women's club here in Albany, they're been a very successful team for a long time. We actually went to a few national championships and we won one, so that was cool.
Yes. Okay.
And yeah, I was invited to some like USA rugby camps and things like that. So, I felt like I was a little behind in the times because I'm like, dang it, if I was just like a little bit, younger, that I'd be like getting on this rugby ride that we're on
Mhm.
now because it's been cool to see it really blow up in the US. So I was like, oh, dang it, but
Nice. My friend talks about it all the time. I actually met her through Melanin Fitness Nation as
yeah.
well too, Elena.
Mhm.
And she's like, "Oh my gosh, she plays rugby." So would love to connect you two to be
Yeah,
able to
that'd be
talk
awesome.
because she's always talking. I'm like, "Girl, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay, it sounds fun." So it's cool. It's
Right.
cool.
It's
So that's
awesome.
great. Okay. So talk about what type of clients you're looking for. What do you need? How can we support you in what you are doing?
Yeah. So for my clients, whether it's nutrition or exercise, like my ideal client is really one that struggles with um, self-trust.
Okay.
So we hear, it's funny that you asked this because I was really thinking about this the other day because, we hear a lot all the time, like, all or nothing thinking, mindset, like consistency and things like that. And though I think those are very important, what I realized through the years is that a lot of my clients have trouble trusting themselves to do the thing and then stay consistent with it. Because yes, we can tell someone over and over and over again, like you just got to stay consistent, got to stay consistent, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. And like recognizing that like you just people don't trust themselves to do it because they've tried to do things before. They tried to work out before, they tried to lose weight before, and it, last for a little bit, and then life kind of gets in the way,
Hmm.
or they lose motivation and they just stop. And so they have all these stories for themselves about how they didn't do the thing. So then they're losing that trust. So that's that's like the client I really like to gravitate towards. It's that client that's like learning how to build that trust in themselves to maintain to get to their goal. And with that, teaching people like through this process it's about self-compassion. We can't beat ourselves up. We can't beat ourselves into like losing the weight or exercising every day because we humans just don't operate that way even though we really want to.
Hmm.
So with that, I work a lot. I talk a lot about like self-compassion and building flexibility, because especially when we go back to the self-trust piece, people lose that trust in themselves because they're not willing to be flexible
Hmm.
with what they want to do. Like they think they have to get up every single day and work out at 5 a.m. But if they don't do it one day, then they just like, well, I just effed it up, so here goes my whole day. And
Right.
then, they throw everything out the window. But so yeah, like that's like really what I tried, like the clients I tend to gravitate towards and who I really like working with, because it's been a blast to see people develop that for themselves, like that self-trust, that like, hey, that self-compassion, and being like, I was sick this week, so I didn't, work out, but I did make sure I got my meal prep in. And like that's their win, and celebrating that, because, the person before necessarily like wouldn't have done that. They wouldn't be like, I'm sick this week, I'm just gonna order everything out, and then feel crappy because they're eating crappy while they're sick. And it all
Right.
snowballs. Yeah.
Okay. What would you
Yeah.
say to the person that's scared to start?
Find something that you like to do enough to do it.
Okay.
I think we tend to have this idea is that, especially with exercise, that we have to love it. And like some people just don't really like exercising. And that's
Hmm.
okay. And we try to force it. So we do all these things. It's like, well, I'm told I have to lift weights in order to be the healthiest I can, but some people don't really like lifting weights. So where can we start instead? That's where you like it enough to kind of build that consistency. And then from there, usually things start to build. So if it's walking every day, cool. Then make sure you hit that walk every day. And then usually when people start to see differences in how they feel or how they look, then they start to add more things to it. And that is what really builds that momentum and gets them into that space of like, hey, I actually really like and enjoy doing this, because they started with something they enjoy, rather than forcing something that they don't like.
Nice. I
Yeah.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I
Good.
love it. So, can you tell us your name again, your credentials, and your website, and how people can contact you?
Yes. So Angie Craig. I'm a certified personal trainer, and have my master's in clinical nutrition. So I'm a certified dietitian nutritionist, technically in the state of New York. And my new website, because I just kind of rebranded, is called grit-grace-wellness.com.
Perfect.
So I'm
Sounds
also on
great.
Instagram and Facebook.
Perfect. Perfect. Sounds great.